when you got a local kid that goes and wins a national championship. Doesn't matter the school or what sport, but it's always just exciting to see that.
We are joined with Logan on the phone this morning. And Logan, it's got to be an exciting time for you and everything. Kind of walk us through how the last couple of days have gone for you with the national championship and everything.
Yeah, man, it was honestly a great experience overall. Over the past few days, there's a lot of people coming up to me and congratulating me and things like that. But it was just a great experience overall. I'm actually glad to be a part of it because first year winning a national championship, that a lot of people don't do that. So.
Hey Logan, it's Mason Nealon here. I gotta ask you, final seconds tick off the clock, and you look up, and what are the feelings like between you and your teammates there? Kind of paint the picture for us.
Man, the feelings were unbelievable because last year they came up short. They lost from a punt return touchdown, and me just building that bond with them throughout the season and finally coming to the end, winning it all. The emotions were high, and it was finally done. The job was done, so it was fun.
Oh, go ahead. What was the adjustment like for you? Going from playing high school football to now, I think a lot of people might sleep on JUCO a little bit because of the competition that you're playing with, and they look at it as a 2-year program. But what was the adjustment like, and some of the things that you had to adjust to going from high school football to now playing major time college football?
Yeah, so there's a lot more expectations in college football, like morning weights and all this stuff. High school football is kind of looked down on by, I guess, not that difficult. But JUCO, it's a lot harder on you, I guess. You got to wake up at 5 in the morning, fall camp, just going throughout the season, and it just doesn't stop. It's an ongoing process throughout the season until it's over. But we got winter weights coming up too, so my first year is going to be fun with that. I'm sure it'll be pretty difficult, but I mean, JUCO is a lot harder than high school, so.
I gotta ask you, Logan, in high school you get to play a different set of positions here. You get to kind of play the offensive line, defensive line. What's it like to specialize in just one position at the college level?
Honestly, man, it was pretty easy for me because we only had a certain thing, certain special thing, each day. So there's one day we would do punt, or one day we'd do field goal, and we would break it out over the week. So I would have a lot of extra time just to work on my craft. So I got it a lot easier than all the other guys that got to bust their butts 24/7 down there at practice. So.
What was it like, getting that extra time in? I think, people, you see kids in the high school game now, go and catch balls and run routes after practice, but I think you got to kind of take that step up when you go to college. What was it like, and how did you find time to work on your craft, maybe lift some extra weights and stuff like that while handling a full class schedule?
Time management is a big one. You got to get extra work in because the other person's, you're going to be working hard. There was, for us, there was 18 quarterbacks that came in. That's just a JUCO. There was probably 15 wide receivers. You got to be working hard no matter what, or else you're not going to get a spot.
Logan, talk to me as well. What's kind of, in your opinion here, what are you hoping to take away from this season to build on for next season?
I'm just trying to get my name out there right now. I got a lot of FCS schools coming to me right now, PWOs and things like that. But now that the transfer portal's opened up and all the bigger schools are having people transfer over, a new coaching staff is, I'm hoping to get my name out there more and maybe stay one more year at Iowa Western and to see where it takes me.
What's it like getting to play at a program like Iowa Western? I think they've won 3 out of the last 4 Division I JUCO national championships. What's it like getting to play and get coached by such a good coaching staff over there?
Yeah, Strohmeyer, he's the best I've ever had. We've had a lot of first team or first time coaches down there too. It's super. It's a young coaching staff, so I have more of a bond with them than any other coaches I've really had, just because they're so young. But yeah, it's a totally a flip from high school to or anything, because there's so much experience. And yeah, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but they know so much more than anyone else. And yeah, it's actually a fun experience learning and watching them coach, because maybe in the future I would want to coach or do something like that, and it's kind of influenced me to start doing that for my future.
I gotta ask you, Logan. I mean, Iowa Western, not too far from home here, just a 2-hour drive. Do you like to have that you can have just a 2-hour drive to get back home some days?
Yeah, it's actually fine, because, well, it's kind of hard throughout the season because weekends. I mean, we have games on Saturdays and then meetings on Sundays, so it's kind of not. It's kind of hard going home throughout the season. But now that the season's over, I guess it'll be pretty easy too. But throughout the season, my parents especially liked it, not having to drive so far to the other schools that I was offered to, which were like 3-4 hours away. So, plus this is probably a really good program for us. But yeah, I like it being so close, because it's one of the best JUCOs in the nation. It's right in Council Bluffs, Iowa. So I guess it's pretty fine to me.
Talk about some of the places you got to go play. I know obviously the national championship is going to be atop that list, but some of the places you got to go see and travel to this season that really, I think lasted as a big impact in you.
Yeah, so I was injured 1 week. It was week 5, I think, and they went to Snow College. That's down in Utah. But all my buddies sent me pics of that in the mountains. That was crazy. And then we went to Kansas for a lot of them. Kansas, it was okay. They were long bus drive, like probably 5 to 9 hours, which was tiring, but we got through it and we pulled off the dubs. And then we went down to Texas. That was unbelievable. The stadium and atmosphere down there was it was unforgettable, but the weather was not it. It was still like 20 degrees. So,
what is the off season going to look like for you? You mentioned you got weights coming up. Anything else you planning on doing in the off season to kind of prepare for next year?
Yeah, 100%. Going to all these more camps. You got to try to better yourself in every way. So, Greg Kustra, I'll probably come back here and work with him. But yeah, I just follow the path that Iowa Western guides me to, and just keep on doing my extra work like I have been doing, and it's been going good for me now. So,
how quickly for you, Logan, did you adjust and kind of bond with the teammates that you had? Because I know that they pull kids from all over the country. How quick did you guys bond?
It was pretty quick for me, because there was all these guys are pretty close to. So the specialists, they want in-state just because of some scholarship things that they're doing, but there was a lot of the kids, specialist-wise, are from Iowa, so I just hit them up on DMs, and we got some private workouts and just us. So the specialists were pretty close, and it's going to be hard to see them leave next year or this year, but it was a cultural shock for me, because all these guys around the country, I don't know, it's just different, but it's fun seeing all these guys and had different accents and things like that, because there's kids from Washington, there's kids from Chicago, there's kids from Florida, South Carolina, but it's cool connecting with all these guys and seeing what they go through and things like that just to get here.
We talked about some of the adjustments that you had to make, going from playing in high school football and then now to college. What were some of the things you took away from your time playing at Carroll that, you think helped you in your first year at Iowa Western?
Say that one more time.
We were talking about your adjustments that you had to make going from high school to college. What were some of the things you took away from playing the high school game that you thought helped maybe help you in college?
Just my mindset, I guess, because all the things I did in high school football, like all the workouts they put me through, and even with the full schedule for high school, being a student athlete, that's kind of prepped me for JUCO. But it's going to get more and more difficult throughout, like going to a full year of school and things like that. So I'm going to have to carry these things throughout high school, JUCO, and then a full year. But I say the biggest one's probably student athlete. Just try to time manage and get my work done and then do all the other stuff.
Well, Logan, for you, I mean, now that you've gotten the taste of a national championship, I'm assuming next season you're probably hungry to get another one?
Yeah, I'll probably stay one more year at Iowa Western. And there's going to be a lot more talent coming in, things like that, because we got a few Carroll kids that might be coming down. Some Kemper kids might be coming down. So just because they see what I did, gives them some influence. But, yeah, I hope we get another one. It was a great experience this year, and I hope they get to do it in next year, and hopefully sometime in the future.
Logan, we want to thank you for joining us. Congratulations on the national championship, and good luck coming up next season.
Thank you, guys.
That was Logan Mankin of the Carroll Tigers, as he just recently won a national championship with Iowa Western there. And Mason, what a cool story that was, local kid winning a national championship, and we'll potentially hear from one next week as well. But you like to see the local athletes from the area competing in other sports in the college level, and especially winning at a high level.
Yeah, and I mean, Iowa Western's no pushover. It's not like you go and you play somewhere else that's kind of smaller. That's one of the best JUCO schools you can go to, and for him to win there like that, and for him to come on the show and just kind of talk about that, it was a great opportunity for him, I feel like, to kind of get his name out there, and great opportunity for us to kind of learn about it.
Yeah, we will have a couple more interviews coming up next week as well. We'll step away, take a break. We're here from St. Anthony Hospital, sponsors of the KCIM Sports Rewind for you here on this Tuesday morning. We'll talk about the Carroll and Kemper boys basketball game when we come back. Also, some other local sports going on for you yesterday. We're back here on KCIM Sports Rewind.
As the athletes at your house prepare for hard work and fun of the season, remember that St. Anthony Rehab Services provides physical therapy for any sports injury that may sideline your member of the team. Sports injuries can plague kids of all ages and keep them from playing the sport they love. Athletes will be under the direct supervision of a certified and licensed healthcare professional in the newly renovated sports performance facility. If an injury is keeping your athlete out of the game, call St. Anthony Rehabilitation Services at 794-5000 for sports injury and treatment rehab.
We welcome you back to KCIM Sports Rewind here on this Tuesday morning. Casey Miners joined with Assistant Sports Director Mason Nealon. Jeff's off Cozy World, enjoying a vacation. I think they let him have every once in a while. I don't know if he's allowed to take vacations, but Jeff out enjoying a vacation. So Casey and Mason with you here in his studio. And Mason, we're talking some high school sports. Had a couple exciting games back-to-back nights. Friday, Coon Woodbine double overtime game. Talk about that a little bit. It was an exciting game that you got to broadcast down there in Coon on Friday.
Yeah, and I mean, I think everyone we had said it on the air, I think everyone that is a fan of 1A basketball kind of had their eyes pointed towards Coon Rapids, Iowa down there. And I think Cal Hayden that night cemented himself as one of, if not the best player in Class 1A, and Lennon Bloom had a great night over there for Woodbine. I mean, it was back and forth, and in the first half, Coon kind of jumped out to a 10-point lead here and there, and then they were up by 7 to go into the half, and Lennon Bloom shot a jump shot from half court and nailed it to cut it down to 4, and then the second half, it was all Woodbine. Woodbine stormed back into it. They had a 5-point lead late. Cal Hayden made a 3-pointer to make it down to 2, and then they shot some free throws and made it. And the final play there, Landon Bloom thrown over his head and tie out, leading to Cal. And just drills a three-pointer to tie it. And first overtime, both teams score 2 points each. So I'm like, well, this might end up being a 4-overtime game. And Jeff and I had joked before we left how funny it'd be if 4 overtimes happened. But then they go into that second overtime, and I got to give props to Ty Hayden. Guarded Landon Bloom almost all night and did that with 4 fouls after the third quarter and still managed to not foul. But Kuhn picking up the nice win there, and Cal had 26, Ty had 21, Bryce had 8. I mean, it was a good team effort there.
We'll talk about a little bit. The Carroll and Kemper game from last night, too, was an exciting one. We'll get into other local sports as well. But I think one of the best basketball games I've watched all year was last night's Carroll and Kemper game. And Carroll, we thought potentially with Brock being out, Carroll might have a chance in that game, and they sure did, and they came out and played hard.
They did kind of what other people have set the script to play Kemper like. I mean, you got to drive the ball, you got to have some good guards here, and Trey Tassel, I mean, he showed up last night. He had 20-something last night and did a nice job of shooting the ball. And, gosh, he plays the game really smooth, I'll tell you that. Trey Tassel can shoot the lights out of the gym when he gets hot there. But for them, it was a big game out of him, 23 points. And I've got to talk about Louis a little bit. I talked about it with Randy Beeson, the head coach for the Tigers there. Louis has just really gotten solid on the offensive end, being able to clean up the glass a little bit. And defensively, I mean, he can touch almost the top of the backboard when he gets up there. So you can't drive against the Carroll Tigers sometimes with Jared Moore and Louis kind of down low.
And I thought, look at Kemper. They showed some really good signs of what this team's going to be without Brock. I think ran into a really good Carroll team last night, but Kemper is still not going to go anywhere in Class 2A.
Yeah, no, I mean, they got to find their number one option because, Saturday Ryan Clare was the guy, and then Monday Jack's the guy. And I don't know for head coach Sean Minahan if you want to have everyone that has good nights or if you want to have one guy like you did with Brock that can give you a solid 20-point-per-game night. But they're not going to shy away from the pressure there. They came in ranked as the number 2 team after yesterday's rankings there, but they're gonna still play Kemper night basketball.
Yeah, it's still going to be a really good team going throughout the rest of the year. Want to get your thoughts, kind of how the first half of the year went. We wrap up the first half of the winter sports season in general. Swimming's in a really Carroll boys swimming's off to a great start throughout the year, breaking records left and right. Carroll boys basketball's played good. Kuhn has played really good. Kemper off to a great start. Overall thoughts kind of on how you felt all of the winter sports have been doing so far the first half of the year.
Yeah, and I had to laugh because you talk about swimming there. I got an interview with Legan Cease coming up at noon to talk about him committing to go swim at the next level. And I talked to those swimming guys, and I got to give a lot of credit to those guys. I mean, I interviewed them, and their mindset is, it's state title or bust. It's their senior year. They want to go out there and they want to complete kind of the last milestone that they haven't got. I mean, Tegan Renzi, an All-American last season. They break records at Carroll High. They've been to state, and I think that's kind of their last milestone they need to check off their list just to be able to get a state title there. But Carroll Boys Swim has done a really nice job there. Deb does a really nice job always with those guys there. But basketball-wise, I mean, it's been all over the place this season. There's been teams that have kind of come out hot to start the season, cooled off a little bit. Teams that have started off a little slow and gotten out there. And I just want to give props to all of our coaches and stuff for treating us really well, getting us what we need there. But I think it's a fun start to the season.
What have you seen from the wrestling teams and the bowling teams so far? Bowling only got Carroll and Kemper boys and girls, but wrestling, what have you seen from those so far throughout the first half of the year that I think could be good signs going forward? Macy Rasmussen wrestling really well for the Audubon girls. Carson Webker at South Central Calhoun. Carroll's got a 1-2 punch, and Quentin and Kieran Poking up there. So we've seen a lot of really good things from the wrestling programs as well as bowling.
I just got to think it's going to be a hard time for Rewind as we're going to have to be picking Wrestler of the Year and all that type of stuff. But, I mean, Carson Webker just won one of the biggest tournaments in the state of Iowa over the weekend there, and he's been impressive all season. I know he's getting down to the weight he wants to be at, and he's able to wrestle, I think, at 106 is where he wants to finish at. But he went all the way through and won that one there by fall, and he's impressive. I mean, Carson Webker, for a guy that size, can go out there and wrestle like that. I know he won our Athlete of the Week a couple of times, but, I mean, Macy Rasmussen down at Ottawa, and I got the chance to watch her live, and she's just a girl that doesn't want to lose. I mean, mentally, she's just, I can't lose is how she kind of thinks there. And then you go up to Carroll High, and you got Emma Daniels and Emma Grossman and Alexis Esquivel, different girls that have a chance to go compete at the state level probably. And then, I mean, Sadie Smith over at Kemper, and there's just so many good teams this year, and I can't forget about the Coon boys. I talk to Tim Patrick all the time, and he's high on these Coon boys. When he gets that full roster together, I think that they can make some magic here. And for bowling, I mean, there's a lot of bright spots. I know the Kemper team's a little younger, but they got Fletch Baiting out there doing nice things. And for Carroll, I think Cody Bauer can compete at the highest level for them, and they've been doing some really nice things there. I get to talk to Drake all the time every week and get to kind of hear his thoughts there. But, yeah, I mean, this area right now is really thriving in the winter sports season.
All right, we'll pause from the sports talk. Well, we're not really pausing from the sports talk, but I got your trivia question today. My first ever trivia question here on KCIM Sports Rewind. You had to think that those weren't going to go away.
I was hoping they were, because now I don't got Jeff. I mean, John always joked that I was kind of Jeff's crutch there, but now it's solo. It's only me.
Yeah, I got to figure out where John got all his good questions from. I'm not even kidding you. I think I spent a half hour today just searching, I don't like that one. No, that might be a good one, but too easy. Trying to find one. So I came up with one. So all NFL franchises, move around and everything, find new locations. The Rams especially moved from St. Louis to Los Angeles. There's been one team in the NFL that has not moved their location. Do you know what that team is?
Green Bay.
That is Green Bay. See, when I was reading that, I was like, it's going to be too easy. Somebody's going to figure it out. But they're noted as the longest franchise in the NFL.
I got to say, the only reason I know that is because of the Bears. Being a Bears fan, you just understand, because I know the Bears were, Arizona?
Oh, they might have been.
I think they were Arizona, and then they moved up. But the Packers have just always been up in Green Bay, and so.
What we want to talk about, I want to mention the boys' rankings just got released the yesterday is what they were. Kemper, I think, came in number 2, and then Kuhn number 8. I thought Kuhn a little low on that list for 1A after the Iowa High School Athletic Association's first rankings came out.
Yeah, I don't know if I just don't know enough about 1A yet or what it was, but I was shocked that they put Kuhn and Woodbine right next to each other. I was shocked at that because, I mean, when you look at it, all the other media sources, you saw Kuhn at 3 and Woodbine at 5, or Woodbine at 2 and Kuhn at 4. I mean, it was a back-and-forth battle, and then Kuhn picking up a 9-point win without Gavin Heiderscheit, without their third-best guy there. I thought, that cements them as a top-5 team in 1A. I mean, I thought Woodbine would have been number probably 8, and Kuhn would have been 4 or 5 or something like that, but it was a little shock to see 8 and 9 for those two teams there. I know that that's not the final rankings or anything like that, and I think Kuhn's going to come out and kind of play a little bit different with that. And kind of say, you know what, if you're going to put us at 8, let's go show you. And I mean,
it took them a while last year to even get ranked. They had to knock off Woodbine at home in a blowout to even be put into the top 8. I think finished the year 7 was what they were going into that game to go to state last year. But it seems like right now the state's got them really underrated.
Yeah, and I saw the Hayden boys last night. They were with Mr. Dan Pomeroy, and Blankman and I went by. And, I mean, they're such humble kids. We were like, that ranking might be a little low. And they nothing against them. They just instantly were just like, yeah, I mean, it's whatever. We're going to go play basketball either way. But for Kemper to be at number 2, I was shocked about that, too. I don't know if they know if Brock's out or not because that might have hindered some of their choices. But I still think Kemper's deserving of a number 2 ranking in Class 2A. They're a team that could more than likely get to state. And with Brock coming back before the postseason, possibly, I mean, you never know.
Yeah. We haven't touched quite on girls basketball yet and how the first half of the seasons went from them. Kuhn and Exira have had terrific starts to the season. One team I've been really impressed with getting out to go and call games a little bit, Glidden Ralston girls, they're 5-2 right now going into the break.
I know Jeff kind of talks about it all the time. He's like, you and Casey are so high on these Glidden girls. And, I mean, it's a group of exciting freshmen that have 4 years of basketball in this area. And I'm like, Chloe Peters she shoots the ball really well. Janice Hubert cleans up the glass for him. Bryn Renzi. I mean, that Glidden girls team is fun to watch because you don't see a group of freshmen like that come in and just gel with the senior leadership that they got in Cassidy Wank and some juniors and stuff like that. But Rolling Valley Conference basketball is going to be exciting for the next couple of years.
Especially with a lot of our teams being in the Rolling Valley. Coons had a great start to the season. Exira's playing really well right now. Probably the most physical team I think I've seen so far this year with how they play. But when you have the inside-outside punch of Taryn Peterson and Jalen Peterson, not a lot of teams going to beat Exira.
Yeah, you throw Harlow Miller in that girl that didn't play basketball since her freshman year, played one game in her sophomore year to fill in for him. She's almost averaging a double-double at the halfway point of this season here. So, I mean, credit to her to be able to go out there and just pick up a sport she hasn't played in a while, and credit to Tom Peterson for getting these girls kind of going here. I felt like Exira was missing a piece last season. They went pretty far, but they just missed that one final piece to get over the hump here, and that piece might be Harlow Miller.
When you add a girl with size in the paint for Exira, and it's not like she needs to score a whole bunch. She plays good defense, rebounds the basketball. She's a tall girl, and that, as you mentioned, might be the piece that Exira needs to get back to state tournament. Last couple of years, they've been to a regional final, just haven't got over the hump. I think lost to Trainer last year, who I think is number 1 right now in the girls' rankings if you look at it. But a very, very good girls basketball team in Exira. And we've got a lot of good girls basketball teams in the area as well. Kemper playing really good too.
Yeah, Carroll High was playing good to start the year. They've kind of gotten into the meat of their schedule there, and I know that when we talked to Katie Cook, they go to the Raccoon River Conference, and I think some of those Raccoon River teams got a little vendetta of, you're leaving on the way out. We're not gonna let you have your little farewell tour through our schools here, but I mean they're a team that's going to compete night in and night out. Kemper competes night in, night out, and they're in a hard conference as well with the Hawkeye 10 there. But I think that it's impressive here. I know ICAM Manning's been competing really well, but yeah, I think that those teams right there, the kind of 5 or 6 teams that we had talked about, those teams can all compete come postseason time.
Taking a look at the national sports scene a little bit, thoughts and takeaways from the first round of the college football playoff games. Alabama comes back and wins. I didn't expect Miami and Texas A&M to be so low scoring as it was, and then I think kind of everybody expected the other outcomes with the group of 5s and everything like that.
Yeah, and I think the group of 5 getting in might need to be gone after this season. They showed why, because it's hard as a group of 5 team to compete on the road against a team like Oregon or a team like Ole Miss. It's hard even without Lane Kiffin. Ole Miss still puts up, 45, 41 or something
like that.
I'm like, well, everyone saw it coming, so it wasn't very hard. But Alabama doing things that Alabama's done for plenty of years now. Oklahoma not able to advance there, and Jeff Blankman probably sitting at home wrapped up in a Nebraska blanket right now listening to us. And got to give him a little credit. He's tied for first right now, but we know that won't happen very long.
Can't. He won the volleyball one. We can't let him win. We can't let him win the football one either.
No, and I know Jeff Storion believes that Jeff might be pulling a little strings behind the scene there, but we won't discuss that yet. But I mean, yeah, it was a fun start to the weekend here, and the first thing I want to say with that as well is in the NFL. What a game between the Bears and Packers, and the Bears they've controlled the NFC North, and I'm happy. I know I'm happy for Bears fans all around there, including me, because you don't see a Packers win very often.
With how the Bears have been the last couple of years, and you think Ben Johnson's on the short list of Coach of the Year so far in the NFL?
Yeah, you got to put Ben Johnson on that list. I mean, to take a team that was mediocre at best for the last decade and turn them around and make them a chance to win the NFC. They've more than likely won the NFC North that they can just win out, but to win the NFC in a total. And he took a guy like Caleb Williams that people last season were like, he's not that number 1 pick. And then this season, you look at him and you're like, wow, he's impressive. And then, I think they kind of put him into the driver's seat, though, with the team that they put. They put so many young pieces mixed with so many good pieces. I mean, on offense, you get DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, Luther Burden, and you get the tight end duo that they got in Caleb Williams. I mean, it's impressive.
I think that one thing we got to mention, too, college basketball a little bit. Iowa State's moved up to number 3 in the latest AP poll. Cyclone fans out there have got to be really excited. I'm a Hawkeye fan, so my excitement maybe not be as high as other ones, but Iowa State's on a roll right now.
Yeah, and I'm a Hawkeye fan, too, so I see the number 3, and I'm like, we hung around with them. We played our best basketball against them, and we probably gave them the toughest matchup they've had all season. So, but they're a good team. They're going to be a scary team in March Madness there. And Iowa jumped into the rankings as well. They're at 25 now. So, 2 teams in the state of Iowa, both ranked, first time under Ben McCullum in his era here. And I think that, the Cyclones are a really good team, but people sleep on the Hawkeyes now that you look at them and you're like, well, they lost to Michigan State and lost to Iowa State. This is a team that can really compete with some of those guys, though.
Yeah, and that will wrap up KCIM Sports Rewind for this Tuesday. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be back coming up next week here on a KCIM.
During the holidays, we're reminded how much community means. I'm Kim Hackett, General Manager at Carroll Broadcasting Company. Thank you to our listeners for inviting us into your homes, your vehicles,